Guillermo del Toro is such an interesting filmmaker. He has such a wonderful visual style that just oozes off of the screen. I love Pan's Labyrinth, and I think it's one of my favorite movies ever. And Crimson Peak, to me, was one of the biggest snubs of the Oscars that year. It should have been nominated for production design because that movie was strikingly beautiful. I have never seen Pacific Rim, and I like the two Hellboy movies. So I was very excited walking into his newest film. Let's talk about The Shape of Water.
This may very well be the most sensitive asset ever to be housed in this facility.
You may think that thing looks human. Stands on two legs, right? But we're created in the Lord's image. You don't think that's what the Lord looks like, do you?
This creature is intelligent, capable of language, of understanding emotions.
The Shape of Water is directed by Guillermo del Toro, and it stars Sally Hawkins, Octavia Spencer, Michael Shannon, Doug Jones, and Richard Jenkins. I was mesmerized by The Shape of Water. For those of you that don't know what The Shape of Water is about, I'm not going to say much about the movie, but I do think I have to say some things. So when I talk about certain characters, specifically Doug Jones's character, you understand what I'm saying. The Shape of Water follows Sally Hawkins, a mute janitor at a 1960s research facility who forms a relationship with an aquatic creature that lives there. Lives is an interesting word to use, but that's the word I'm going to use. The Shape of Water charmed me. I think that's the best way to put it. It really did. It charmed me. I was blown away from the first minute in this movie about the brilliant production design and the wonderful visual styling of Guillermo del Toro. The things he is well known for. I can easily tell you that this is one of the most beautiful movies I've seen in a long time. Notice I said one of, and it's unfortunate this movie comes out the same year as Blade Runner 2049 because nothing can top Roger Deakins and Denis Villeneuve's wonderful visuals in that film. But Guillermo del Toro and DP Dan Lawson certainly tried. This movie is just beautiful. Every single shot could be a picture. I loved the production design of the research facility. How medical and foreign and almost evilly whimsical it looked. I loved the look of her apartment and her neighbor's apartment. Everything about this movie, the use of lighting, the use of color, leaped off the screen. It felt like you were walking through a fairy tale. It felt like you were walking through a story that was illustrated. It didn't feel like a movie. It felt like an experience, and that is the biggest praise that I could give The Shape of Water. Sally Hawkins puts on the best performance I have seen by an actress this year. I'm gonna say it, I really am. Frances McDormand is wonderful, incredible, just great in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, but Sally Hawkins does so much without saying anything. Sally Hawkins is mute in this movie, and she uses her emotions and her movements to translate everything that she is trying to say, and it works so well. Her and Doug Jones work wonders off of each other, and really, I bought their relationship so quickly. Far quicker than I have bought relationships in movies involving two humans. Guillermo del Toro, Sally Hawkins, and Doug Jones made me buy this story. Bravo. And as I did just mention, Doug Jones is incredible in this movie as well. This character he plays is very reminiscent of the creature from the Black Lagoon, and even very reminiscent of his character he plays in Hellboy. The prosthetics, the suit, the makeup, whatever it is he's wearing, the practical effects that are on Doug Jones are incredible. And his performance inside of those effects, and his performance with his eyes, his performance alongside Sally Hawkins was excellent and sold me on everything that was occurring. Michael Shannon is good as always, but he plays a very similar character to who he's played in the past. I loved Michael Shannon in this movie, but that's just kind of a cliche at this point. I love Michael Shannon and everything. And Octavia Spencer is always good. But to me, Richard Jenkins deserves all the praise he could get for his supporting role in this movie. He is excellent in this film. And I loved his little side plot. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to say anything about what it is, but I loved his little side plot. It played into the main themes of the film wonderfully and beautifully. Talking talking about how these broken people, these incomplete people are trying to find the other wholeness in their life. His subplot really, really worked for me. Another person that was good in this movie, but I didn't care much for his character or his character's plot, was Michael Stuhlbarg. I liked some aspects of his character and some of the things he does, but there is this entire subplot in this movie that I could have removed, and this movie would be better for it. Well, I guess since I started, I might as well talk about my negatives. I really loved, as I might have touched upon previously, the main point of this movie. The main storyline in this film is wonderful and incredible and some of the best cinema I've seen all year, but there is another part of this movie that I think detracts from the whole thing, and that involves Michael Stuhlbarg and some Soviets. I don't care about this plot line, and it was trying to do something that I just didn't want to see in this film. What I loved about this movie was Doug Jones, Sally Hawkins, Michael Shannon, Richard Jenkins, Octavia Spencer. I didn't need that other storyline. Another issue I had with the movie, and this would have been fixed if that other storyline wasn't in the movie, I believe, was the length and some of the pacing. This movie does drag, and it does feel its length, at least for me. I wish it was a little shorter, and I think if it was better paced, the movie as a whole would be better. Again, this movie is great, and I hope it makes my top 10 at the end of the year. But even if it doesn't, I want everyone to know that I'm going to be revisiting The Shape of Water many times. I will definitely be purchasing this movie on Blu-ray, and I can't wait to watch it and dissect every frame of Guillermo del Toro's beautiful visual spectacle. At the end of the day, I'm going to give The Shape of Water an 8.5 out of 10. Let me know what you think of The Shape of Water. Hop down into our comment section and tell me if you've seen it. Tell me if you liked the certain aspects of the story I might not have liked, and tell me what you think about the movie as a whole. Also, tell me what your favorite Guillermo del Toro movies are. Tell me if I should actually check out Pacific Rim. And as always, follow me on Twitter at I am Mourar, follow RAZZLE on Twitter at RAZZLE Review, and make sure to come back here for more of our content. Thanks.